Hey, what is up, guys? Bluntguts here. This is a Watcher of Realms video. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I really appreciate it. One quick moment of self-promotion, if you would indulge me. If you do like my stuff, please do click that thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel. If you do watch my stuff regularly, I would truly appreciate it. It makes a massive difference to me, as well as all the other small creators out there. It really does help us out, give our channel more visibility, allows more people to experience my content. And that does mean a lot to me, given the amount of effort that I do put into it. So thank you in advance if that is something that you can do. But let's talk about the banners that are coming this weekend. It does seem like it's kind of a down weekend as far as Watcher of Realms is concerned. Not a lot to be excited about, but we do have a few banners. Let's go through them now. So first up, we've got the 2x banners. We got them almost every single weekend. It is the 2x on getting legendaries from divine summons, as well as from the invocation of spirits or your rare summons. Always a good place to summon in my mind. I mean, if you are earlier game, it's definitely a great place to summon. The later you are, the less valuable this is going to be to you, because there's just so many heroes that are not going to have an impact on your account. So just the idea of pulling more heroes and addressing RNG by quantity over quality just is less appealing the later game you are. So personally, I'd say if you are late game, end game, anything like that, you probably want to hold off and not summon on this. And similarly, this surprise invocation of spirits, we're getting another 1+1. Feels like we had one very recently. I can't remember, maybe a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago, something like that. Again, I feel like they're just not really doing enough for my taste. All the content they're talking about, wait until April, wait until May, wait until June, second half of the year, blah, blah, blah. It feels like they got caught kind of flat-footed, or maybe just things are just very delayed because of all the turmoil that did occur at the end of last year. But at this point, I'm just, it feels like there's just not a whole lot going on. This is yet another kind of weird summoning weekend. And is it a huge deal? Nah, it's not a huge deal. But when you add it up, there's all these different things that are happening over time. It is just something that I feel like I need to comment on at the very least. So it is weird. But, if you are interested in summoning on this 1+1, I'd say the closer you are to your mercy, the more value it is going to have for you. If you are, like, say, 50 or less away from your mercy, hell yeah, I'd say go for it. You can guarantee 2 legendaries that way. However, if you are much further away than that, I don't know that it really is going to do all that much for you. I mean, you may as well just be summoning on the 2x for the most part. Long run averages, you're probably going to end up in about the same spot on total legendaries pulled if you are pulling on the 2x versus on the 1+1. So I know it's exciting. Getting 2 heroes at the same time is always really exciting. And hell, I may go in for it. That's completely possible. But I just, objectively speaking, as far as the advice that I can give, I don't always follow my own advice, but this is not necessarily a great spot to be pulling on if you are a late or end game account. And unfortunately, kind of similarly, the rate up banner that is going on this weekend is kind of underwhelming as well. Now, we've got Xena and Brokkir, both of which I do believe are solid heroes. Now, Xena is interesting. She is a kind of burst damage specialist, and Brokkir is arguably the best tank in the game, but this is a game that is driven by damage dealers. I'm going to take you over to the Awakenings for each of these heroes. Let's go and see if it is worthwhile to pull multiple copies of them. All right, so for Xena here, let's just go through the Awakenings right now, and I can tell you the A1 on Xena is by far the most impactful of all the ones, based on my testing anyway. During the ultimate, the hero's attack deals an extra 90% to 180% damage based on the number of targets hit. Now, her ultimate basically gives her basic attack a scaling effect where if there are more enemies, it does less damage per hit. If there's less enemies, it does more damage per hit. So it kind of scales to adjust based on the content that you are fighting. So this damage bonus is going to address different ends of that scale. And I can tell you right now, this is a massive boost to her damage. Really, really significant for her. Her ultimate damage is really the only time she's dealing significant damage to begin with. So this is something that you definitely would love to have if you are going to use her. Problem being, there's no place to really compellingly use her right now. Except for, I think, single target arena potentially. I don't know. I don't actually have her on my main. I've tested her, and she is just not really needed anywhere right now, as far as I know. Like many of the heroes that they've been released, there's no content that's coming out. So I mean, what do we need these heroes for? The A2 is plus 300 attack. That is great. More base attack is always welcome. The A3, when receiving fatal damage during the ultimate, enters unyielding for 5 seconds and dies immediately when it ends. The hero cannot be healed during unyielding and cannot be revived after it ends. So no Valkyries. That's not a possibility. You couldn't say shorten the duration on. She gets this ramping damage bonus the more times she is deployed. So you couldn't say get around that redeployment time by having Valk res her and get, basically get a free redeployment that way. Does not work that way with this Unyielding either. And this is kind of similar to Valeria's Unyielding, except in Valeria's case, Valeria's lasts until the end of her ultimate. This is only 5-second Unyielding, and I mean, frankly, it's just, there's some places where it may be useful, but it's very, very situationally useful. I don't think this is something worth pursuing. The A4 is plus 8% penetration. I'm a big fan of this, but going and having to pull 5 copies of her to get it, not worthwhile, in my opinion, for a hero that you don't really have a compelling use case for right now. And then the A5, during the ultimate, each attack inflicts magic resist reduction on the target's hit. It's 15% magic resist reduction. That's not bad. Definitely solid, but I mean, for an A5, you have to pull 6 copies of her to get this. You can get better magic resist reduction on many other heroes in the game. So I don't think this is worthwhile, honestly. I think that if you have her, I wouldn't be pulling period. I wouldn't be pulling period for her, no matter what. Even if you don't have her, I wouldn't be pulling. I know some of you are collectors and you just want to, got to catch them all and all that kind of stuff. More power to you. But from an account power perspective, this is not a good investment right now because we don't know where she is going to be useful, if she's ever going to be useful anywhere. So even though I do like the hero on paper, I just don't think there's a compelling use case for her, especially not for multiple copies. But if you are dead set on pulling for her, or if you are like a whale and you pull on everything, I would say the A1 is really the biggest power jump. The A2 is going to give you the max base stats for her, and then everything after that is just kind of like not worth it. That is my opinion. Let's go take a look at Brokkir's Awakenings. All right, so Brokkir, the best tank in the game in my opinion. I had a little doubt in my mind last weekend when we did have the Malvira banner, thinking maybe Malvira was going to supplant Brokkir. I didn't feel like that was going to be the case before she was released, but I did want to wait and see what happened when more people got their hands on her. And basically what I've seen is that my misgivings about Malvira were confirmed, and Brokkir still reigns supreme among the Northerner tanks, or among the tanks in general. I mean, he is unequivocally the best tank in the game, and his Awakenings are pretty solid as well. Now, I don't think, kind of like I alluded to when I was doing my initial kind of talk through the banners, I don't think that it's worth pulling for these things. Like, I think that there's one Awakening, and kind of similar to Xena, it is on the A1 that is really worthwhile. So on the A1, inflicts freeze on up to 5 enemies around when the shield from the ultimate is gone. So when the shield fades or it gets broken through, it is going to freeze up to 5 units around him, which is really, really powerful. Because especially in a GVG type of environment, if somebody's trying to swarm you in one way or another, if that shield breaks at the wrong time, all of a sudden 5 units are going to be frozen. And there's more RNG that's in his kit as far as freeze is concerned as well. So this can really derail an attack, and it is really, really nice to be able to bring that extra wrinkle into a GVG defense, and I think it is definitely worthwhile. I noticed a big difference when I did get this myself, so definitely I don't know that I would say like pull specifically for it, but this is a big power boost for him as a GVG tank. There's no really other place in the game that I can think of where this is super relevant, but in GVG, definitely a big deal. The A2 is plus 1200 HP. That's good. More base stats is great, but it's not game-breaking by any means. The A3, when the hero is inflicted with freeze, increases received healing and shield effects by 20%. Now, this is nice. Very, very nice. I do like more shields and more healing. Definitely is going to help keep him alive longer. Is it make or break? No, I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. But, if you do get it, then hey, your Brokkir just got an upgrade. No doubt about it. The A4, plus 8% to all damage reductions. This is pretty powerful. This is essentially like another stack of the scaling buff that you do get on a Bastion Ring artifact. So you get 9% per enemy blocked with the Bastion Ring, totaling 36%. With this, it goes up to, 44% damage reduction. So very solid. Very, very solid. You got to love that. Again, I don't know that this is game-breaking enough to really, you don't really need to, be pulling specifically for this. I think we will naturally kind of accrue Brokkir Awakenings over time. Now, granted, I've been playing for a year and a half. I've only pulled him 3 times. So, you never know. And then the A5, when Iceberg expires, restores 100% max HP. This is a really big one for GVG as well. It allows him a lot more functionality without a strong healer. It means that when he does get his Unyielding procced, after the Unyielding fades, he's going to heal himself all the way up, so he doesn't just die immediately. Which means potentially you could use him without a healer or something like that, because it's going to the enemy is going to have to chew through his health more times before he does actually die. So this is just like another headache kind of thing, kind of like the A1. I do think it is a big deal. but ultimately you do have to pull 6 copies of him to get it. So that is where I just don't think the juice is really worth the squeeze, unless you are a whale or something like that. And if you are, you probably already have a 5 Brokkir. So, but I do love the hero, and I do think most of his awakenings are really, really good, as I just did detail. So the other weird thing about this banner is it is a special divine summoning. This is not, there is no equivalent Invocation of Spirits banner for some reason. I do not know why. I don't know why they would do this, and yet they have. Like further limit, I guess the surprise in the 1+1 is the rare banner, but they oftentimes have a rate boosted banner with a 1+1 alongside it and things like that. So I'm not sure what the logic is behind this. It does seem like they're just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, but I'm not even gonna question it anymore. As far as the epics are concerned, we've got Mari, Mariel, and Hollow. I would say that Hollow and Mari are fantastic heroes. Definitely want at least a copy of them, but I think there are also heroes that most of us are going to get just by pulling on banners that we actually are interested in pulling on. So if you don't have a burning desire to get a Brokkir or Xena or copies of either one of those heroes, I would not pull specifically for these. Hollow is great, Mari is great, but they're not really needed. Well, I would say Mari is needed in GVG, unquestionably. She is pretty unequivocally the best CC champion in the game. As far as just CCing units, I think there are other units that have CC components that are better heroes than her. But as far as just pure slows and freezes and all that jazz, Mari is unquestionably the best. Hollow is one of the better rage regen units in the game, and she does have a massive range. Really nice. Do love her, but I don't think that there's really a lot of need for her outside of, say, like Guild Boss 1, which is kind of old content at this point. At least it will be until the Abyss comes out, and I don't think you're going to be using Hollow in Abyss because she doesn't really have the base stats to really stand up in that kind of spot. But yeah, just my thoughts. In any case, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, please do click that thumbs up button. Please do subscribe to my channel if you do enjoy my content, and I will catch you all next time.